Okay, so we got a very important week starting tomorrow, Monday, and this week can influence a break of structure that we've been wanting to see on Bitcoin. Uh, it can happen very soon, right? We have some very important data coming out. I'm going to show you guys that. And on top of that, it's prepping for the rate announcement decision on the following week, right? So this week, potential break of structure coming up soon. There's gonna be a lot of focus on. I'm gonna show you guys right now. September 10th, we got inflation. Thursday, more inflation and another initial jobless claim. Before the week after this one, that's when we have where is it at? Right here, September 17th, FOMC interest rate decision. So this is very very important because if, however, so there's two ways of going this because know I feel like a lot of people have a really good idea on what, and we're gonna look at Mars stock too, but I personally believe that a lot of people have their expectations for when it comes to the inflation reports and the jobs numbers that will further set up because we had one recently and well, it gave us a really really good idea. I think expectations for a September rate cut, rather it's 0.25 or zero point 0.5. I have no idea. We will find out if it happens. But the jobs report was really bad, and it raised the expectations up to 99% that we'll have an interest rate cut. I don't know what it looks like today, but I'm sure it's still in the 90s. On top of that, though, now we have further inflation. These will be the last three data that come out before the FOMC, at least significant data. So this could potentially cause Bitcoin to finally have a break of structure into either direction. Because again, I have no idea what the numbers are going to be like. We all don't know, but there's ways of prepping for it and being good to go for either the price comes down or up. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. And remember, it's just what I'm doing. I'm going to show you guys. I like to share with you guys what I'm doing. I'm not telling anyone what to do. Please do your own due diligence. But if you guys been watching for a little bit, you know that I accumulated a IBIT position as a overall foundation for a swing trade with the idea that soon, before the year end, we'll be at new all-time highs. First target leg up is 128K to fill the next fib extension in green, 128K. And then there's another one at 136K. But that's the one I'm focused on right now. And then following the price higher, because we are in an overall a bull market still. We have not confirmed a bear market yet. And it's quite early, but there's a whole lot of other reasons I gave in previous videos. But we're in an uptrend, and then within every uptrend, there are corrective moves. Now, I've been keeping track of this corrective move with simple overall retracements. There's two that we filled throughout August and throughout September. So we have two red retracements filled, and then an extension to overlap with the supportive areas we've had. And then purple is short-term deep value. So here's how I'm approaching this. Don't worry about all the color coding and numbers. I'm just going to break this down in a very simple way. So I'm not going to focus on the smaller picture, the micro pictures, because I mean, we all know within this little pump, we're still holding higher low. We're technically still within support, right? An overall retracement from this move, yellow. We did break below it briefly, but we're still holding above it, and now we're still holding above it, and we're hugging the 120 moving average. So with that being said, I'm not going to focus too much on the short term because we all know we have enough momentum to hit the blue area, which means there's potential momentum building to further break into the blue. But when it comes to the bigger picture, right, we're in a very nice higher low position. It's an overall retracement, so it's very conservative. So I've been accumulating the IBIT. So here's what's going to happen, right? So when these numbers come out this week, right? So right now we're in this sideways consolidation within support, red support area, and we are waiting to see if we're gonna have a break of structure either to the downside or to the upside. I do not care right now about liquidation heat maps. I do not care about any of that. I'm gonna make it super simple. Let's say whatever data comes out this week, right? All three datas. So we'll know by Thursday market close. We'll know what everything looks like, and then I'll set the expectations for the FOMC, rather or not what's most realistic. But with that being said, if everything comes out and the price pumps, well, It's simple. I am invested. I did what I've been saying I will do, which is accumulate as we enter support, a higher low overall support area. So I'm accumulated. I have 75K invested into IBIT. If the price pumps, then cool. The position is pretty much flat right now. So at this point, if we pump, make a higher low, a higher high from here, break further into the blue, I'll be in the green. Simple, right? I'll probably start locking in partial profits further within the blue as we try to approach 100 and potentially 120K, where there's some value gap resistance up here as well. So this area is just short-term resistance for the overall move. It's a retracement from all-time high all the way down to this low. There is a lot of resistance here, so that's why I'm looking to potentially shave the position. Now, so yeah, we either go up, great, I don't have to do anything, I'm in the green, we're good. And I told you guys, if we have the opportunity where the price comes down, creates another lower low, just a one more low scenario where we can potentially accumulate Bitcoin below 107K. Ideally, if we do break into the purple, we can recover out of it very, very quickly. But ideally, it would break all the way down to like roughly 101 K, opening the pathway to just brief prices below 100K potentially. Ideally, the further down it goes, the better. If it can go down to the low 90s, that'll be great. But here's what I'm doing. The price goes up, cool, I'm in the green. I'm not complaining, right? So if it comes down, I told you guys that if it comes down further and we actually break into the purple, I consider purple color coded to be short term deep value, which means I want to accumulate aggressively. So the foundation of the IBIT trade is just to gain exposure for the swing trade for potential further upside. And then with BitU is where I want to be aggressive with it. So I will complement IBIT with BitU shares, which is a 2 times leveraged Bitcoin ETF long within the purple. So I'm good with IBIT. If it goes up, great. If we come down into the purple, I will complement it with BitU, and I will slowly accumulate BitU within the purple and continue to accumulate as we try to potentially progress through the purple. Any price breaking into this purple, so 107K and below, we've seen this happen multiple times. We've seen it here. I'm not great at color coding, but this is deep value. This one just bounced off of it. The top, it just bounced off of it. So we could potentially see something like that here. We're just bouncing off of the top and go higher. But if we do break into it again, I will be buying BitU. It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me. And purple prices will basically be a lot of these data come out to actually reduce the chances, make it a lot easier for the Fed to not cut rates, and then we can potentially see a decent sell off. And then I'll be taking advantage during that sell off to accumulate. And the S&P it's quite high, and I think the VIX has cooled down a little bit. So I mean, we could see pumps happen. We could potentially see like weakness leading up to it, but all of that is speculation. I already told you guys what I'm doing, which is we go up, I'm good, I'm in the green, I'll take it. If we come down into purple due to weakness from all this data, and we gotta wait till like Wednesday and Thursday for this data, so we have 2 whole trading days of just chilling for the most part. Wednesday, in my opinion, is not as significant, but still significant, but not as the Thursday CPI and jobs report. But yeah, so I'm either going to accumulate BitU in deep value purple to complement IBIT, or we're just going up, and then I'll just lock in some profit within my my sell lines within those fib retracements, short term resistance. When it comes to Mara stock, though, right? There's not really anything to talk about too much because it is the weekend and Bitcoin is pretty much flat. I think futures open up either now or like in a little bit from the time I'm recording this. So we'll see if futures influence Bitcoin overnight leading into the first trading day of this week. But pretty much there's not a whole lot to talk about because I already said everything I needed to say Friday and Saturday for Mars stock. So I'm just gonna repeat myself in case nobody saw that video. But um, there's a few ways of looking at Mara. First one is the bigger picture, where we are in this uptrend, and the purpose of this uptrend is I'm tracking accumulation areas with red, right? So every time we have a red accumulation area, it sets up for a higher low, and that could push the price up, have a break of structure from the previous swing high, and then go up higher. So right back here, when I called out this accumulation zone, we went up into take profit, which is the value gap. We had another accumulation zone. This time take profit was a fib extension. We're within another accumulation zone, but this time is a little bit different due to um, just the way Mara stock is valued. It doesn't correlate a whole lot to Bitcoin, so I'm treating it differently. But there still is some influence. So the way I'm treating the stock is quite simple. Is in order for us to go up back over $20 for like a brief moment of time before we break below $20, we have to break over not just this value gap, but we have to break over this short-term resistance, which is a simple fib retracement from this high right here all the way down to this low, right? I believe that should be, yeah, it's all the way down to that low. So we have resistance, strong resistance within this area, and the value gap overlapping, which means in order for us to break this area, if the price goes up and actually goes and enters into the yellow, I'll be following it up with a fib retracement. At any point when it tops out within the yellow or even potentially within the green, I can go all the way up to like 18 to 19 bucks realistically if it does break up into this area where strong resistance 18 to 19 is what makes sense to me. Because again, it overlaps right here. But also there's a resistance. Well, it used to be a bigger picture support. So bigger picture support. And then we had a ton of macroeconomic fear that caused the support to start acting as resistance. We briefly broke it a little bit, but just because it broke it here, doesn't mean it has to break through it once again. It can act as resistance. So that's going to be 18 to 19 bucks. The thing is though, I'll follow the price higher with a retracement, and if it can hold the retracement as support and break over the swing high that it can potentially create, then very likely will be in the low 20s for a brief period of time, where I believe it's very important not to be greedy and to actually lock in profits, like reasonably lock in profits the moment we break over 20, or at least raise a limit order to get out of it, and you'll still be above $20, and that makes sense to me. So that's the idea, right? It's we're just continuing this uptrend, but in order for this uptrend to be invalidated, before I jump into the short term stuff, this swing low, yellow support line, 1845 basically, sorry, 1345 dollars. If we break below this, it invalidates the uptrend because that's a very significant point in my opinion. If we break this area, we have a nice gap. Currently, this is just an estimate support area. If this line is broken, if it's broken, we can easily close the gap and go well below $11 quite quickly, in my opinion. As long as we close below the yellow, it'll create a lot of bearish momentum. But until that happens, the idea is that we're holding support and we can go up higher. But again, a very important resistance, potential short-term take profit opportunity, 18 to 19 bucks is how I'm viewing it. When it comes to like real short-term trading, we've been trading sideways within the red support area, accumulation area, very nicely, dancing around the 0.5 retracement at $15.68. This is the support that I just been keeping an eye on. It's what works for me. So this is at a few cents above $15, resistance being a few cents above $16.20. So the point of these support and resistances, if you guys haven't watched the previous videos, is we've had plenty of long and short trade opportunities that last like anywhere from like 1 to 2 days for the most part. So every time we reach support and we actually break support, I've been calling out that I believe it's a good opinion. It's a good idea to accumulate longs with the idea of not being greedy and selling limit orders to take profit on the longs every time we hit the blue resistance line, right? So it's just taking longs every time we break below the support yellow or the support blue, and then it would just be take profit at the resistance line. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then when we're up there, um, and we take profit on longs, the idea is to also open up shorts with the possibility of the price coming down and hitting the support line as a take profit. See, this is why it's so important to be not greedy and just let limit orders do your thing. And then when it comes to stop losses, like it's up to you where you want to set your stop losses. But for me, like just conservative swing lows and conservative swing highs have been fine. But the idea here is that we trade outside of the channel for a very short period of time, especially this one right here, where if you're trying to just pay attention to it and set market orders, chances are you're not gonna get filled below or above these lines, right? Because we don't have much trading time in either direction. But we don't have a break of structure out of this, which will be like support. We break below it and it acts as resistance, and then we continue further down, breaking the swing. Same thing on the top side, resistance starts acting as support, and then we break that way. So we don't have any of that just yet. And I've been saying what I've been saying. Like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but the idea now is that for any of you that have been paying attention to this and you do your own due diligence, but you take a similar trade. The idea is that we had an opportunity to sell shorts here and open longs, and now the idea is that we'll continue up, fluctuate up, but we'll continue up into resistance, and it's just take profit on those longs. Any second dip below support is just an opportunity to add more, or at least wash your position, because we can. I mean, this is the only time we actually like tested this like 3 times. We broke over it, we came down, didn't reach take profit for shorts. We broke over it again, didn't reach take profit, broke over it again before we reached take profit. So sometimes it can take a minute, but the thing is that rather or not we fluctuate within this area, it does not matter. Or if we fluctuate down here, it does not matter. It's rather or not we are trying to form a sustained break of structure out of this area. We had no signs that the price is trying to form a sustained break of structure. So during this time I kept saying like it makes perfect sense to me that we'll come down into this area, and we did. The idea now is that again we're taking longs below the support line with the idea of take profit up here. Your SLs should be placed wherever it makes sense to you. But yeah, I'm looking for the price to break back up into the low 16s. So again, 1620 is the take profit that I'm paying attention to. But yeah, hopefully this made sense. Yeah, hopefully this made sense, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.